Today's video is all about Heroes of Mavia. Command your army to victory. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into this project, looking into some of the fundamentals such as the team, the tokenomics, the utility, and the overall value proposition about the project, and making some critical decisions whether this project has what it takes to make it to our portfolio. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. And the question is Heroes of Mavia the opportunity? Guys, today we're going to be doing a deep dive, looking into the project, of course, looking into those fundamentals, but really we want to gain some clarity here. We want to gain some clarity. We want to use the website. We want to use all the documentation. We want to use the white papers. We want to see what the team has created for us here, so that, we could justify, scaling in, buying dips, and accumulating for the rest of the remainder, or the rest of this bull run, altcoin season, and all of that we're waiting for. Of course, a narrative that is, kind of quiet and slowly, possibly going to start waking up very soon. The gaming narrative, guys. Mavia is definitely a project that has been here establishing roots with many communities. And what we have to see is these roots finally, holding grip, and we have to start seeing some real mass adoption for the game. Now we're going to do that deep dive. We're going to go through all of it, and I'm hoping that the website does a great job giving us all the details that we need. Of course, we're going to be critiquing that. Of course, we want to make sure that the retail market, the retail investor, has every single thing they need to get fundamentally bullish. Okay, so let's begin. Landing page is great. Landing page is looking really good. Ultimately, we do see, discover tokens, marketplace. So there's some key indications of what we're looking at here. We got Discord, which I went on. Pretty well-established Discord, but not much activity. And then the Mavia token. So let's look at some of these tabs. Discover, Ruby scam, mints, burns, and transactions inside the Heroes of Mavia ecosystem. Then we have alliances, explore, manage players, bosses, and so on. Leaderboards, interesting. Okay, so some characteristics of the game itself. So right off the bat, there is a dual currency system. I use that vocabulary, those words, very strategically, because obviously there's a crypto-based project, and we're talking about Mavia, the token, and then there's rubies that are in-game currency that is not governed by the blockchain, which a lot of game projects do, because they don't want the volatility in-game. They want the volatility outside the game, which obviously for a gamer, this is kind of what we want, right? We want to be able to hold some stability within the game as we're playing, and strategizing and all of that kind of stuff. So this is a common characteristic: one currency that is in game, that doesn't it's not exposed to market volatility, and then another token which offers other utility. Of course, we're focusing on Mavia, the token, the cryptocurrency today. Let's take a look at what they have here, the Mavia token. I have a couple of tabs already open, but you know what I'm going to do? I want to open this up in a new tab if it can be done. It can't be, unfortunately. So what I'm going to do is not leave this page, because I want to scroll through all of this, but I do have it open. In fact, you know what? Let me just click it real quick. There we go. We can see some stuff. I think I have this page open. If not, we're going to go back to it. I don't want to leave it. So that would be a great update, to be able to open these things, these tabs in new, or these pages in new tabs. Ruby, we got some other things here explaining the bridge. Of course, there's a bridge. That's good. Bridge Mavia tokens to land NFTs between Ethereum and Base. So it is EVM. It is Ethereum based, and this is great because we know that Base has a growing and strong ecosystem up and coming. If we were solely going to rely on Ethereum, guys, we would be struggling. I would be struggling with this project right now, because we know that Ethereum is causing the market to struggle altogether, and Base layer 2 comes in and offers solutions, right? Solutions to the Ethereum problems. So just keep that in mind. Mavia in-game currency, we talked about that already. The Ruby coin, or the Ruby currency. And then staking, the ability to stake Mavia tokens and NFTs and earn rewards passively. Okay, these are key characteristics to the utility of the Mavia token. So it's important that we distinguish the two currencies here, number one, and number two, understand that we are focusing on the utility of the token. The game has utility, obviously. We could play it. It's an active game. In fact, you could and should go play and download it. It's available on multiple platforms. We'll talk about that as soon as we see it here. But ultimately, the utility is, what are we using this token for, and why should we be buying the Mavia token? Marketplace, there's a marketplace. That's great because, of course, within game, there's skins, there's assets, there's NFTs, different things. You can exchange your Mavia tokens for rubies and trade them back and forth so that you can use them within the game. This is all a part of their not only utility, but their internal ecosystem. So we have to understand is that Mavia may not have an external ecosystem or a projects being built on it. It's not an L1, right? So it is a project that has its own ecosystem, right? So this is great. So we have an explore marketplace to explore the marketplace, the exchange, the NFT platform, trading activities. You can track all your trading activities, consumables, collections, and consumable items, and statistics. So this is all within the marketplace, things that you could do. Great stuff there. And then there's more. Governance. This is very, very important. Okay, because not only do we have a token, a Mavia token, but we can use it in the marketplace as a currency and so on and so forth. But the greatest opportunity here is that if you're interested in getting involved at the lower level of the organization, it is a decentralized, autonomous organization where if you're holding Mavia tokens, you can stake them up and essentially earn passively, but in addition, earn the reward to be able to get involved in governance, which means if you have any ideas or anything that you want to pass by or propose, you could propose it to the DAO, and then people vote, and then you can essentially use a democratic process to get the Mavia going in a direction where the overall holders believe it should go. Okay, so this is great. Some art gallery and documentation, of course. I have the white papers and all of that open already. So that concludes the major links and the major conversation pieces, right? So let's go down and let's see what we got here. You can download the game. It's available on Android and Apple OS, so you can download it to your phones. Great stuff. It's meant to be a mobile game. I think that's the main focus, which for me is actually a good idea. I prefer that, especially with the convenience that mobile applications offer, just to get in, especially a game like this, that it's a slow pace type of thing. You get in and you get your civilization and all your fighters and all your individuals, all your assets going at it. Then you leave it for a couple hours or a couple of days, and you come back and you update it, collect, you this, that. So it's not like it's an action-packed game, but it's a strategy game, which it takes time. Also, Ruby Exchange, get Mavia tokens, interesting stuff. Build, battle, and trade all on mobile. So what we have to understand is that a lot of players, a lot of people, including myself, I'm not a gamer. I don't even know really what makes a really good game other than the feeling that it gives me when I'm playing it. In addition to that, categorizing this game is also a challenge. What kind of game is this, right? It is a very popular style game, and there are games that exist already. However, the ability to earn doesn't really exist on all those Web 2 applications. So a lot of people will start saying, well, this is so similar than, X, and X basically doesn't allow me to earn anything, but Mavia does. So since it's so similar, why don't I just go over to Mavia, and I could play a very similar game, probably maybe even better, and still be able to earn passive income, and obviously that sounds interesting to a lot of people. We saw what this did for Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity totally exploded in the days of play to earn, and that play to earn concept, at the end of the day, it should come back. It should be a very interesting value proposition ultimately, because why not be able to earn while you play? and it's an incentive. Instead of using fake currencies that don't have no real value, we can actually use a currency that actually has value, and that should be a value proposition on itself. Okay, so interesting stuff. You can see here: build your base, defend against enemies, lead your army, infantry, vehicles, and air units, earn ruby and other in-game resources, upgrade your base with heroes and statues, and so on. Really good stuff. The Mavia DAO for governance. I wish we can open this up in a new tab. I don't know if it's my browser, but I don't see it here as an option, unfortunately. I think it's the way the website was programmed. Ruby Legendary Marketplace, we talked about. Revolutionary Ruby Exchange, again, something internal ecosystem. Mavia Creator Program. So basically the studio. This is a big part of what Mavia is. You have to understand that Mavia basically is a studio that created this game. Okay, and this is something that I've seen across many other games, right? And I'm not going to mention them here because this is all about Mavia, but this is a very similar structure, and the vagueness that is created between the understanding of a crypto Web3 project and a gaming studio Web2, is very, there's a gray area, a pretty big area, gray area, particularly when it comes to the team and the overall identity of the organization. Okay, although it is a DAO, I understand that. And based on that concept, we start to think, how much does the DAO govern? Is there, a centralization, any degree of it? And if there is, we got to question, who is involved and why aren't they doxxed? Okay, so let's continue going down. We got a AAA art and development game studio. We're going to talk about the Vice studio in a second, and then backed by world-class partners. So there's a lot of logos here, guys. So we have Binance Labs, usually an incubator, considered incubator, and then we have tons of VCs. Okay, Crypto.com, another exchange that has it listed. These are not really partners. Let's be real about that. I know I say this every week, guys, when I do these deep dives, but the reality is they're not. They have offered liquidity to Crypto.com. Crypto.com realized that there's market interest, and they just wanted to list them. So it's not really a partnership. And then we got lots of VCs. And again, VCs are not really partners either, because their vested interest is essentially liquidity. They want to make their money back, right? So we can trust venture capitalists with keeping the price up until they're willing to take profit, and they take profit really quickly for de-risking reasons, and obviously that's the case. They're taking a lot of risk getting involved in a project, a small project like this one, and they deserve reward, and they're going to take some hefty reward. And you can see there's like esports. Okay, that's a good one. Animoca Brands, another type of VC incubator, perhaps. Yield Guild, and capital, anything with capital Merit Circle, VC, a DAO, Avocado DAO, Emirates, I don't know what that is, another VC for sure. And then Kick, I wonder how they're involved. Obviously they're big on streaming and streaming gaming, so that could be a good partnership from a promotional perspective. Maybe that's the most strategic partnership on this whole entire list, perhaps. And then more capital, so tons of VCs, exchanges, which don't really do it for me. So I feel like we need to emphasize, what they need to do here is emphasize the strategic partnerships that they have that are really, really important, and maybe offer these, but make them clear as what they are. Like they're VCs. These are not real partners, like to the sense that they're going to ride to die, right? They're here to make gains real quick, and on the top of the bull run, they are going to use as much of us as exit liquidity. So be careful. Let's keep on going down. Heroes of Mavia February community update. Okay, that's pretty good that they got that going. Some updates, but February? I'm not sure which February, because I went on their blog on the Medium, and the last time they posted on that was February past. Obviously, we're not in February yet, but you get what I mean. It's like about a year since they've kept up with the community. So that, for me, is not a good one. So dates and all of this, I'm not sure which February they're talking about because of the connection that I'm making here with their Medium blog posts. Very, very, let's say, unmanned, not well kept or upkept, and that's not a good look. Additional media resources, Mavia deck, brand assets if you're interested, and then the Scrice designed and developed by the studio, which is great. We'll talk about that studio in a second. We see a little bit of other stuff, maybe governance. We can open up a new tab. Yes, we can. So that's pretty good. And let's just do the documentation just in case, because I do have that open, and I think we're pretty good here. Marketplace and all that, we understand what that is. Feel free to poke around and try to go through all these tabs. They got all kinds of socials. I did go on their Discord. It's so quiet there, guys. There's nothing much happening, unfortunately. And other Telegram, obviously, also. I think it's only, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. And Medium is definitely not kept up to date. Okay, so let's just get right through some of the documentation. Let's just make sure this is I think this is the DAO, the proposals. Okay, so at least they got something happening here. You could log in, and they have information if you want to get involved with the proposals, which is great. There's only a few. There's not many here happening. Conversion of dead Ruby to cleanse the economy prior to launch of the web marketplace. This is 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago. You can see the lack of engagement here on this DAO. Okay, not a good thing, right? We're losing steam here, unfortunately. But again, the gaming has taken a bit of a toll on our portfolios. We know that. So, calm before the storm. Let's, Mavia should be, it's one of the major players out there right now as an individual game. Okay, as an individual game, this token doesn't belong to the studio in general or a big catalog of games. This token, the Mavia token, belongs just to this game. So we're riding on the success of Mavia, focused purely on the success of Heroes of Mavia. That's what we really have to understand here. So it's almost like putting your eggs in one basket. Okay. So what else do we got here? Heroes of Mavia. We got, this is the documentation. This is the same one. This is what I already had open. Yeah, it's confirmed. Okay. So let's just stick with one, obviously. In intro, let's see what we got here. We got some cool stuff. Blockchain based strategy game where players use their base and army to battle other players, complete real cryptocurrency in play to earn fashion. Pretty good. We've already covered a lot of this. Pretty good stuff. Okay, let's move on. Home base, some of some of the characteristics, the aircrafts, the infantry, the factories. This is very typical. We've seen many games like this before. Currencies, there's two, like I mentioned. The Ruby, which is your in-game currency, and the overview is you craft legendary items. Ruby Marketplace. Ruby is the backbone of the in-game economy, earning through battles and achievements and daily challenges. The most important part here is that Rubies can be traded for Mavia tokens within its own ecosystem. Okay, so this is important. And then you got, obviously the premium in-game currency, which is Sapphire, represents the premium in-game currencies available through in-app purchases. So more currencies, but this is all in-game, right? So triple token or triple currency, perhaps. And then we have the Mavia token. So the key thing here is the separation between those two currencies, which we can kind of couple them up together. It's an in-game currency, whether it be rubies or sapphires, it doesn't matter, just different denominations. Ultimately, what we're focusing on is the difference between a crypto Web3 token versus those in-game currencies. And you can see this allows governance, whereas the other ones do not. Okay, so if you want to hold Mavia, it gives you privileges, which is to become part of the DAO. And I showed you that you can put in proposals and vote and so on and so forth. So Mavia tokens extend beyond the game, serving the governance token and Mavia ecosystem and offering in-game perks. Okay, so that's obviously if you're interested in those perks. The benefits are exclusive access, web marketplace trading, governance and participation. So this is where the utility of the Mavia comes in and shines. But remember, it's very intertwined with those in-game currencies because they can be traded. Okay, let's see right here. Each currency within the Heroes of Mavia opens up unique pathways for players to player engagement and game progression. So basically, whether you're leveraging the rupees, trading NFTs, or using Mavia tokens for exclusive in-game content or governance, or sapphires, basically they can be traded and they work basically within its own ecosystem, and it can be converted to actual currency that you can be traded on an open exchange. And this is where things get interesting, because although it's just an in-game currency, as soon as you can transfer it to Mavia, you become a trader. And you start trading it for stables, you start, exiting, you start, buying dips, you start accumulating, and then you get back into the in-game currency. You grind away on the game, and you mining more sapphires or rubies, and then all of a sudden you trade it to Mavia tokens. So this is the strategy here. You can actually earn, if you're good at the game, you can earn. So which is good. Please read all of this detail. Go through it a little bit more, because obviously coming from your own eyes is much better. This clearly here written black and white. Okay, so let's move on. Ruby battles, interesting. You put some some coins or currency on the line. Ruby battles, rubies, and then whoever wins, basically, you take the rubies that were on the line, right? And there's a bit of a fee, rubies minus a small burn fee, and so on and so forth. There are different ruby tiers to compete: 50 and 250 rubies, no cooldown between matches. And this is what basically happens, guys. Matchmaking, there's an algorithm that matches players together, and the winning conditions, and you can see that if you win, you earn the tokens, or you can also lose the tokens that you put on the line. Okay, so it's just basically putting some money where your mouth is. If you think you're a good player, put some rubies on at stake, and then obviously whoever wins, gets the pot, which is pretty cool. Alliances coming soon. Mavia Arena coming soon. Firebase, a lot of coming soon here, guys. A lot. Okay, so what does that mean? That tells you that there should be a clear roadmap. There should be something to give you some of the future integrations. And to be honest, it should already be well integrated. Now, I'm not very confident that this documentation is up to date. I wanted to see if there's anything that suggests when was this written, because it could be that these things are already out there. And this is the problem. Lately, as I've been doing deep dives, and I've done over 80 of them in the last year and a half to 2 years, videos wise, and I've noticed that a lot of times documentation is not updated, and without a date, without any, what do we have to do to really know what's really happening here? So it's part of the responsibility of the team to keep these running documents, especially Git books and things like that, to keep them active and up to date. Now, I'm not sure if this is a Git book, but regardless, this is definitely something that is designed to act like a Git book, and it should offer the latest and greatest data and information that we need here to get fundamentally bullish. So if they don't do that, it's on them. Their marketing team, their communications team needs to get on this. But so far, there's a lot of additions that need to be added to the game, apparently. Okay, so let's move on. This is a little bit about the studio. So what we have to understand is that Mavia and Scryce, hopefully I'm saying this properly, is totally different identities. Okay, and they made it very clear to make that distinguished, because there's no real information about the team on the Heroes of Mavia, website. Terms and conditions, privacy, and then you have the studios. So what I'm thinking here is that they want to really keep this decentralized and keep the identities between these two very separate. The problem is that it becomes a scenario where is it completely decentralized or not, or is the studio the ones calling the shots? And this is something for me. I've seen this on many games and many applications as well, that they try to separate the developers from the token, which the reality is, and obviously we want that to happen so that it can be considered not a security. But then what we have to look at the tokenomics and who runs the decision making and who's calling the shots behind the scenes. Is it Scryce? And it is. I would assume it is, right? If it's not the DAO, it's them. Now, if we start looking at the decentralized aspect, obviously it's coming to the organization in itself, but also the tokenomics. Is it decentralized? And you can see that there's a launch partners early 2.5%. This is not that much, but fine. It's fully unlocked on day one. Airdrops fully unlocked on day one. That's another 3.5%. So you're looking at about 6% that is already in distribution, nice and early. Okay, so it's not too much to worry about. Community and ecosystem 44%, which is great. And obviously in a linear vesting schedule. However, I'm wondering who's calling the shots for this. Is it part of the DAO? Is it part of who's calling? Is it in Treasury? And I don't see any documentation suggesting that the community and the ecosystem funds, 44%, are going to the Treasury. In fact, I don't even see any Treasury at all here. So it kind of bothers me. It kind of bothers me because technically speaking, who owns the tokens? Which wallet are they going to? Are they going to the Scryce wallets where they are able to make decisions on their own without, decentralized authority? Or are they the complete authority? That is the difference between a decentralized and a centralized organization. Again, clarity here, guys. It's on them. They got to provide it here. It's not here. I don't see Treasury. I see community and ecosystem. Based on the 80 plus deep dives that I've done, this is not enough. This is definitely not enough. So a little bit of a worry here. Gameplay rewards, which is great, but at least they acknowledge that these tokens are going to go to the community and ecosystem, at least. Okay, so that's a bonus. Whether they choose it or the DAO chooses it, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's great that they realize that this is where the tokens need to go, that liquidity needs to go. The pre-sale, 15%, that's quite early, meaning quite early to have about 15% already, allocated there. It is on a vesting schedule also of 4-year linear, so within the next 4 years. But when does this start? TGE is also very important to see where we're at with things, and I got some documentation to help us out with that one as well. The pre-sale, look, the pre-sale, we have the team, 22% for the team. If you're looking at pre-sale, team, early launchers, airdrops, and all this, and then we have advisors, all of this together, it's a lot of tokens, guys. It's significant. The only ones that are a little bit that are decentralized to a degree, because again, we don't know who's calling the shots on them, is community and ecosystem and gameplay rewards, which gameplay rewards, I'm assuming it's within the contract, right? For staking and all that kind of stuff, NFTs, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But this usually belongs to some sort of, what is the metric? What is the driving force behind it? Okay, so a little bit concerning. As you can see, it's a fat amount of capital that goes towards there. But I want to know more, guys. I want to know more. So we do have a little bit of a roadmap here. Beta gameplay 2023, but we're already way past all of this, right? So it needs a severe update. And I do have another roadmap. Let's see if I can find that real quick right here. And again, very outdated. Like, where are we with this? January, like when? December, when? So altogether, guys, the roadmap is definitely not attended to. It needs a lot more updating. And of course, this thing, I'm trying to see if there's even a date on this document. A lot of these guys don't put that, but just based on, when this is these times, these dates right here, I'm assuming that it's at least a year old, a minimum. This is the about, now about Scryce, not about Mavia, but it is the development team behind Scryce that is creating this token. It's just that, Scryce Studios, core team. So there is that gray area. You can see that, right? So we're seeing this is the Mavia.com website, and this is where I got it from, the game deck, and this is the studio behind them. So are they the ones actually launching and governing those tokens? At least these ones right here that we're talking about, these up here, and it could be, and most likely it is, right? So we got the executive producer, CTO, managing director, and big team, lots of team, and obviously we'll go on the LinkedIn, kind of look at a few. Let's see what's going on there. As we go down, our team's experience, Nintendo, Gameloft, Call of Duty, Activision, lots of good talent from a lot of parts of the gaming industry. Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, a lot. The Final Fantasy, of course, you can see that all those logos. The problem is, again, just because this is the case, it doesn't mean that they're going to be running this as a Web3. We can trust, almost with 100% certainty, that this team, Scryce, has gaming background, a gaming development background, right? The problem is where's the Web3 concept? I don't see, a crypto, background here on any of this. I don't even see, ideally, one of these characters underneath here would have a Web3 background, blockchain technology, something engineer or something like that. Now I know it's only it's a project built on Ethereum and maybe not necessary, but just figuring out tokenomics and how to the industry itself and understanding, I don't feel that right now. We'll take a look at some more of the characters on their LinkedIn account. Probably backed by the world-class partners. Again, be very critical about the partners. We went through this already. Half of these, I would say, are, not really that, classified as partners. They're either VCs or exchanges, and that's about it. So documentation, I'm going to scroll quickly to the top to see if I can find a date. And a lot of this 2024 game deck, so at least a year old. And we can see there's a lot of the repetition that I've already seen or already talked about on the main website. Again, sometimes, revisiting some of the same concepts and they get into a bit more detail and this and that, but we got the gist of it. Feel free to go read this. This is available on their website. Now, if you look at the go back to the tokenomics, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go back to that slide or that section where the tokenomics are, and I'm going to go to cryptorank.io. We're going to quickly look at what's going on with the vesting schedule as I get rid of all these pop-ups, and you can see that the community ecosystem holds quite a bit, and so far only 5% is unlocked. The majority of them are still waiting to be unlocked, so that means we have a bit of risk of dilution. Dilution meaning as tokens enter the market, there's going to be sell pressure. However, if we have the thesis that we're in a bull run, and we've already seen this happen a couple of times with a few projects just within the last month, we've seen projects have unlock moments, unlock dates that come and go, and price does not dip. Okay, because the buy-ups are very strong during a bull run, and the sell pressure is not there. We are, a lot of us have conviction that we are in a bull run, and the reality is we rather hold than sell, even if tokens get unlocked, right? So very important. Now, as we keep on going down, you can see that the team is about to start getting tokens. And if you start looking at the allocation of the team, it's 22%. So we're going to start increase the sell pressure in a little while, in about a month, right? So, or less, because it starts in February. So, this is the problem, guys. This is a problem. And then as we go down, we have advisors. Now, I know the advisors is not a lot. I think it's only 3% right here, 3%. You can see, but still increasing the sell pressure. While we still get unlocks linearly on gameplay rewards, which of course that's for adoption and creating that hype, and the pre-sale is still getting their unlocks. The airdrop already fully unlocked, and the launch partner is already fully unlocked. So you can see what we're doing is adding a layer of more sell pressure in an environment where already we've seen Mavia already feel and endure a lot of sell pressure, okay, as the price is falling. But I'm gonna say this, it's not exclusive to Mavia. The gaming narrative in general has been suffering and has been stagnant. So it's not like it's only Mavia that's the issue and it's only the unlocks. The reality is it's a combination of many factors, but this does not help. Okay, so I'm going to quickly change it to a chart form so you can see the ramp up of the unlocks that's gonna end up happening in February. You can see how it's gonna ramp up significantly. So be careful here, because I think the market at the current moment with regards to price has already front run this scenario and has already priced in these unlocks. That's why Heroes of Mavia has been falling significant below very critical levels. I think people are already anticipating that this is going to happen, so it's already priced in. Okay, when we talk about the charts, when I show you the charts in a second, we will revisit this concept again, so I can put it into play with regards to price action. Okay, so that's that. I think that was very important. I think we might have some more other data here. We got the team. Might as well look at this too. Let's see what we got here. We got the co-founder, and again, a lot of the major characters. Executive producer. I think this individual has a lot of talent to offer. I did look into him, so that's that. And of course, a lot of them, the founders and co-founders, sometimes it's not necessary for them to have a blockchain talent per se. A lot of them get into the industry from various angles. They could be, art directors and so on and so forth. Remember, we're talking about a gaming platform that is a studio, not a Web3, particularly a Web3 organization. This is a thing that I want to focus on a little bit. Okay, before we continue, let's just make sure that we look over some of the token metrics a little bit more. We do see 85% locked up in a vault. Now, this could be a multi-sig. You can see it's definitely locked up, which is, where we want to see the majority of the circulation or the supply locked up in some sort of vault, as you can see. And then we have the bridge for layer 0. It's definitely more liquidity for the bridge, and Bybit and KuCoin Altcoin and crypto.com, and then a few others. But you can see that quickly the percentage comes down a lot. Look at Gate. It's listed on a lot of exchanges. BitGet and so on, more KuCoin, HTX, Mexi, and that's it. And it's a fairly healthy distribution. And I know that maybe this doesn't look good, but at least it's in a vault and locked up. Okay, so and this is what we're looking for. And we'll talk about the max supply and the circulating supply when we wrap up this concept, this project, because really, there's still more tokens that need to enter, a lot more. Okay, so it's fairly new, let's put it that way. Now let's slowly get into the socials. The Medium account, like I mentioned before, not really being well taken care of. We see September 2023, February 2024, and these are old posts. What's going on within the year? Medium is a very popular place to keep your community up to date, and if you're not using it, it's better not to have one altogether. I'd rather not. If you're not going to use it properly, then don't use it. Don't have it, right? It's it just kind of is deceiving, and it actually doesn't look right because you feel like the team is not doing anything, which they may be. Now, if you go on their X profile, they do have a lot of action. They're posting, but they're losing steam. And I'm going to get into some of the metrics again when I do the summary, because I do have metrics for you guys, as usual, talking about what really their metrics look like with regards to X engagement. And I focus mostly on X and Discord and Telegram. But when you're looking at, for example, January, and you keep on going 17th, 22nd, and all of this moment we've been waiting for, staking is finally here, which is good, because that means you can take more tokens out of liquidity, like out of circulation to a degree. Obviously, they can be put back into circulation, but when you're staking up and you're earning, there's an incentive not to have them in the open market. And that means you're technically kind of taking that out of circulating supply to a degree, right? To a degree. And that's pretty good. It got a 620 likes, a bit of engagement, 70,000 views, 100 retweets. And if you look at their following, their followers, they got 425,000 followers and they only got 620 likes. For me, that's not a good conversion. It's not a good conversion. It's followed by many people, right? And this is interesting, but I would like to see a little bit more action on some of these posts. Look at these; they're pretty dead. Now, again, it's not just Mavia that's not doing good. At least we're seeing Heroes of Mavia spaces. They're coming out there talking, so the team is active. You can see Julian is there and the art director and all of this, and coming out there and speaking to the community. You can see, so this is healthy. This is definitely healthy, but you can see the struggle is real within the narrative. Okay, so that's that. And I already showed you this roadmap, so let's move on. Now let's take a look at what's going on with the team a little bit. The Heroes of Mavia team in itself. Okay, this is where things, the gray area continues. As you go down, all you have is these are associate members. This is it. I'm going to quickly do it again. People, Heroes of Mavia. This is the project itself that we're doing a deep dive on, okay? And you scroll down, you have business development manager, blockchain Web3. Okay, this is good. A consultant, okay? A student of some sort, and then a manager director, okay? And then I'm not sure what this is, okay? So this is that. And you can ask yourself, does this look like a strong team? Although this dude might be amazing, this is not doesn't look like a strong team. But then you start saying, but Heroes of Mavia is a token, it is a game, but who created it? Where's the rest of the team? Now it's all under Scry Studios, and if you start looking under the studios, there's a big connection to Mavia with all these individuals, right? Co-founder, CEO, Scry Studios. We have Julian, that is the head of Heroes of Mavia. Look at that. Heroes of Mavia, and they're involved, definitely involved. They're trying to separate themselves so they can decentralize the Mavia, Heroes of Mavia identity, but the reality is they're all up into that organization. So it could be a slight deceiving thing. Now, good news is that now with a new American administration, these worries of security, non-security, this and that is kind of being alleviated, and we're being a little bit more open to the idea of being free to express and free to create within the blockchain space. Okay, so this is good. Again, this individual obviously part of the Mavia team and part of the Scry's team, and they're interchangeable, you know. And we can see a lot of other individuals, like this is the COO and co-founder. Look at his experience. I don't see anything. Skills, business planning, networking, experience, co-founder. That's it. There's nothing else. This is not enough detail for me to, you know, be super bullish on this individual. Although he might be a legend, he might be a star. I don't know where else to get information from him other than his own LinkedIn page. This is a standard nowadays. Now, this individual here, Scry's Gaming Studio, 3D artist with 15 years experience on many, as I mentioned, there's Nintendo, there's a lot of different Ubisoft and all of that, and he's a freelancer as well in the past, and lots of basically game development experience, which is good. And okay, this is talent. This is at least talent, but this talent is associated to the development team, which is the Scry Studios. Okay, so this is something we got to know. Look, Scry Studios chief operating officer, product manager, and then owner of these Vietnamese gamer. I'm not sure, like you Peanuts Games, okay, Game Loft, okay, you get what I mean. So really, this is a gaming project, and it is a gaming project where they created a game and slapped a token on it, and the token has utility, and it's great, and it has a lot of value because of the DAO and all of that. So it's not just slapping the token on it, but it kind of feels that way. We just now have to make sure that we assess the token and that we're not assessing just the studio. Okay, so good stuff there overall. We've looked at all the details, and as per usual, you know, guys, I give you a review, an overview of the project, and here it is, Mavia. So let's take a look at the ecosystem. NFTs, in-game currency, the Ruby and the Sapphires, the marketplace, the DAO, the staking capabilities within the obviously that goes into the utility, but the ecosystem is a 10 out of 10 for what it has, for what it is. It's not an L1, guys, and it's got a lot already built and going for it for a game. It's only a game, not a ecosystem built with tons of games on it, like you know, a studio that is decentralized or has a token. Is there a Scry token? No, there's a Mavia token that we're talking about. Okay, that's very important to understand. The utility, exclusive asset access, marketplace trading, governance, staking, and many other little things in between that can be used for the token. But again, I feel like the current state of the token is not being used a lot, and I feel like a lot of it is because the game itself is not very active, and it's very unfortunate. Look at the DAO. The DAO has very few proposals. There's not much happening there, unfortunately. Let's keep on going down. The roadmap is outdated. It's completely useless. At least it's there, I guess. We can see where it came from, but there's nothing there. It needs a complete update documentation wise, and this is the bull run. If these guys believe that it right now is the time to raise liquidity through an organic marketplace, it's time to, you know, brush up and clean up all their documentation. The roadmap doesn't even exist, and there's two: one on the Discord, which I showed you, and there's one on the documentation, which is about a year old, that is already expired. So the roadmap done. There's nothing there really. The team not really transparent, because I don't know who's directly involved in the Heroes of Mavia project as a crypto project. That's very important to me. Who is the actual blockchain developer or blockchain specialist that knows the Web3 industry and Web3 blockchain? I would like to know who's that talent. And on the Heroes of Mavia website, that is the individual that should be plastered all over the About Us, right? Because that's the talent that we are banking on. Now, the gaming talent is clear. It's super clear. But the rest of it, as a blockchain project, it's not that clear, not very transparent. Lots of talent in both blockchain and gaming studio, but no clarity. So this is one of my issues. Okay, so 7 out of 10 right there. Socials, this is quite unfortunate. So this data fluctuates, obviously, and I did this a couple of days ago, and I have no choice but to say this. You know, the followers are there. And I feel like they ran up significantly in the early stages and waves of the gaming narrative when it picked up about a year ago. But really, their followers are down. The amount of followers that they are attracting on a monthly basis are coming down every single month, to the point that they're down over 3,000 followers in the last 30 days in comparison to the previous 30 days. But still, they're up 207%. How does that make sense? It's because they're not losing as much as they did prior. So they're still up in comparison. That's not a good look, guys. It's not a good look. Why are they not in the same thing? Now, again, it's not going to be exclusive just to Heroes of Mavia. The gaming narrative is really, flatline right now. So they are not getting that same engagement. They have 6 posts for the last 30 days, down 116%. They're not really the -6, so less posts in the last 30 days than they did in the previous, which means they're losing traction. They got to get out there. They got to really have a campaign, a marketing campaign to rally people up and get that hype and get that interest. Now, maybe what they're doing is collecting marketing dollars to see when the actual gaming narrative wakes up, and they're going to deploy strategically within their marketing budget. It could be possible, but wouldn't it be ideal to have this, scenario maybe outlined or something? But regardless, guys, this is the data. The data speaks for itself. Tokenomics. 43.5% of the tokens are allocated to early stakeholders. I do understand that a lot of them are in a vesting schedule, but as those tokens get unlocked, we are going to have sell pressure eventually. And 43.5% of it is part of that, belongs to part of that pressure. It's going to be slow and steady, but it is still there. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's still very early. A lot of the tokens are not in circulation, so we do have that pressure. And again, the ambiguity behind the ecosystem and all of that, and who's holding those tokens and who's in charge of releasing those tokens and in which category is still bothersome to me. So the tokenomics is not really good. The unlocks are ramping up in February, so be careful with that one. I think the market has already priced that in. Again, we're going to talk about that when we look at the price and see exactly what the price has been doing, and you can probably concur that it has been falling significantly, and maybe the market is preparing for the dip in February, and that means it's not going to dip. Ultimately, people that already have been following have already did what they had to do to protect themselves. And the wallet distribution is fairly healthy. We got a big wallet holding a ton of tokens, but they're all locked up. Okay, so that's where the tokens are going to come from when they slowly exit their vesting schedule. Okay, so very interesting, very clear. However, not very balanced and not very, the token allocation as far as the that big portion that is allocated to the ecosystem is a little bit. Unfortunate. I don't know what to say about that because there's not enough there. Relationships, lots of VCs. We got some esports, Team Kesso, Tribe Gaming. Those are good. I think those are great partnerships. Even if they are partnerships that focus on promotional partnerships, right? They had another one that we appreciated, one that, even with Kick, that's a good one. It's something that, at least from a promotional perspective, we can get some more eyes on Mavia. But VCs, I'm on the fence about them. We need them, guys. We realize that fair launch are not the only way to go. They are definitely a valid scenario, but without capital, projects are not going anywhere, and they're going to take time to actually, get a grip. The problem is that VCs want to get paid. They'll allow you to get that grip. They'll help you get that grip. They'll get you everywhere, marketing dollars, listing, exchanges, all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, they want to get paid for that. So I'm a bit on the fence. The relationships could be a little bit better. And especially now, cross-promotional relationships will probably be very helpful for socials and all that kind of stuff. So I think more effort there. And then exchanges. They're listed on a lot of exchanges. Tons. Okay. The problem is I don't see many. I don't see the large two. I don't see Coinbase and I don't see Binance. It is on DEXs because it is on base. That's fine, but low liquidity and all of that. We get all these great exchanges, but the opportunity is on a listing, an exchange listing. When it gets listed on Coinbase, it's likely to get listed on Coinbase first, then Binance, in my opinion, because it's very related to base. So why not see that happen? So you might want to front run that and have that as a speculative point for a catalyst for Mavia to run and so on. But that a smidget of opportunity still does lie. Okay, there. Now, if we kind of back it up to some of the price, obviously very volatile in the last little while. Market cap, $20 million market cap, very, very small. Trading volume is quite high because there was been a bit of sell pressure in the last little bit. Supply only 12.6%, maybe a little, that's not a lot of in comparison to the fully the market, the full total market cap. Max applies 250 million tokens, so only 12.6%, guys. There's going to be a lot of tokens entering the market in the next little while. Be prepared. That we rely on vesting schedules to protect our portfolios, but in times of bullish momentum, those unlocks get absorbed so quick, and the market doesn't care, right? So, and they front run that as well. It gets front run. So let's quickly do a summary here on what Heroes of Mavia is all about. Heroes of Mavia, technically, of course, it's a gaming project. It's Ethereum based. So it's EVM, and for that reason, it's listed on on Base, not Coinbase, Base chain. Okay, so that's where people can get access to the token with a very low gas fee, and that's obviously a great opportunity for those people that want to get in. So gaming, a little bit stagnant, a little bit quiet, maybe waiting for a wake up call very soon. I think the gaming narrative is a good one. I think that the use case for tokenization within gaming is quite high. The best use case, in my opinion. Why not? Why wouldn't it work, right? Instead of having fictitious coins that don't do anything, why not play with coins that actually have some value? And that's what for me is what works out in my mind logically. But it's lagging. The narrative is lagging. Mavia utility is limited to a single game. This is something that you have to understand. You are putting all your eggs, all the capital in one basket, hoping that Mavia as an individual game succeeds. If it doesn't succeed, the Mavia token is going to crash and burn. However, if you're bullish on the game, be bullish on the token. And this is the difference between buying a token that's associated to a game or in comparison to a studio or an L1 that focuses on gaming or infrastructure that focuses on gaming. You get what I mean? So ultimately, just understand what you're buying right now. There's a sub-narratives within the gaming narrative. Original structure is not clear. Organizational structure is not clear. I made that very, very clear myself here in this video, suggesting that, the who's involved in Mavia and who's involved in the studio and how that relationship exists and so on would be nice. I understand the reluctancy, but, this is something that when we're doxing ourselves on these projects, we have to get into the shoes of the market, and we want to know who's backing, who's behind this project. Now, if we look at the Telegram is only announcements, unfortunately, that's for me an opportunity lost. We know that Telegram has a lot of engagement, and we can see that Discord is not active. Like, you go on there, it's pretty much quiet. That's unfortunate. So where is the Mavia community right now? And we also see it on X that there's not much engagement. Considering how many followers they have, their posts are not getting much engagement. Nobody really cares. Why is that the case? Where's the marketing at? Where are the partnerships? The strategic promotional partnerships should be right now, trying to cause a deviation from the downwards pressure, the negative momentum, to the positive momentum. What we need is the effort now, because it doesn't look good. Marketing is struggling. Plain and simple, clear. Okay, so if you're going to compare Mavia with the market cap of Axie Infinity, guys, I know, hold your horses. I know Axie Infinity is massive. We get it. And this is a projection. Like, just to put it in perspective, you're looking at the top dog. That is your aspiration to become, Axie Infinity. Mavia getting there, you're looking at a 45x. Okay, so in your perspective, when you're looking at a price projection, and I'm not even going to call this a target, because a lot of people ask me, what is your target? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I can say this. If you think Mavia can catch up to Axie Infinity, it will do a 45x. In this current condition, where total market cap is at $3 trillion, more or less, and the total market cap of gaming in general has been lagging significantly. To say that Axie Infinity won't at least do a 5x, it could. And then what happens to Mavia? It'll catch up a little bit. It'll do pretty good. What could it do? I say it could easily do a 10x, maybe a 20x. We'll see how it goes, but I say at least a 10x, and that would be very healthy and modest. I say maybe a price projection of about $15 would be very modest as well. Not bad. Maybe 10 to 15. Like, again, we got to see what this market brings us. Right now, the sentiment out there is struggling. We know that. Altcoins are not doing the greatest, and to be talking super bullish right now is difficult. However, it is the best time to get bullish because we know that Mavia's price is severely undervalued at the current moment. And we'll talk about the price in a second. I give this project 7 out of 10. Give it 7 out of 10 because ultimately it's got some things you got to work on, and it's got some marketing that it needs to fix. But really, the game and the established structure of its ecosystem is very healthy. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts as well, so let's get right into the price action. What's going on with Mavia? Obviously, this is Ethereum, but we're going to take a look at Mavia in a second. Let's see if I can get that chart going. Heroes of Mavia. So here we go. Mavia currently not looking the greatest. Okay, not looking the greatest. So the issue here with Mavia is that really it broke structure. It broke structure to the downside and made a official lower low. So we were going sideways in a very good zone right here. Very sideways, looking for lots of support, lots of volume. And at this area, I had the conviction to say, you know what, at least my invalidation is very clear. I know what the issue is if it breaks below. I know what I'm signing up for. And clearly seeing that there's no price action looking left, we see that this thing is currently, okay, exclude the wick, somewhat in a dip discovery. We don't know where we're going to be holding. Now, unfortunately, I have a feeling what happened here is a lot of people are seeing that the unlocks in February are coming around the corner. And what they are doing is exiting before the unlock happens because they're afraid of people dumping on the market. And as soon as that happens, they will get right back in. And guess what? They are able to buy on a dip at a good price. And even if individuals get their unlock and they want to sell a little bit more, we might see sell pressure even further. I highly doubt it. I think that as tokens enter, it's very likely that we will take full advantage of all the tokens entering in circulation, and it's very likely that we start to build some sort of structure, and volatility forms, and so does the structure. Okay. However, guys, you got to admit, there's no line of support right now here on the daily. The reality is this is the bearish confirmation. We come back up, we get rejected right around here, and we come down for a lower low. This thing's done. Okay, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to be the person to be bearish right now, but that's the reality. If that happens, we're in a continued downtrend, and we don't know how low we're going to go here. However, the bullish side of things is we could eventually get that structure right here, and we could eventually go back up above the horizontal as we held it before as support. What about if we hold it again? Maybe a back test, maybe not. Maybe we can just continue to the upside real quick. This would be bullish, and that would get me more interested. That would allow me to get into bigger bags here on Mavia, because this is a confirmation that the market wants to see this get back into the structure and go revisit some previous price action. If it gets rejected, guys, be careful. So I would get into positions here. I did buy into this level, and of course I'm underwater on that position. And then once we get back above, there we are. We're into this back test confirmation. You can deploy a little bit more capital, and then on the spring, on the break of the previous high, we made an official higher high. You can even deploy a little bit more right into here, and your average position is right here. If we run up here, you're doing good. You take profit, de-risk, do what you got to do as a trader. Now, as a trader, once again, personally speaking, I got into a little bit of a leverage position, very low leverage, very low leverage position right here, so that I can maximize my gains on the way up and on the recovery. And I am fully aware that if it continues coming down, my position is definitely going to be underwater and very risky. Now, let's clean up some of this artwork for a second here and get onto the lower time frames. You can see that maybe we might be showing signs of divergence. And now again, don't trade based only on divergence. I'm going to show you the oscillators here in a second, and we'll kind of arrange this properly. And then you can see lower lows on the price action, but look at the momentum. Look at the purple line. It is diverging, clearly diverging. I'm going to make this a bit thick so you can see that a bit better. And you can see that this line, this price action is coming down for lower lows. And on the 4 hour, we're diverging. Okay, signs of weakness for the bears. As soon as we start seeing a change of character, instead of making lower lows and lower highs here, and we start making higher highs and higher lows, right? We start to see a pivot point. we start to see structures that look like inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eve's, those type of things with class A bullish divergence here, the follow through should conclude to be something like this, right? Where we start moving to the upside, which is great. Now, if you start looking at the trend oscillator, bullish divergences, 2 drives of it, no invalidations. EMAs right now are trending to the upside. As you can see, if we get into the bullish control zone like we've done in the past, we can get an expansion upwards, right? So again, a little bit of an expansion to the upside. I'm wondering how the daily looks like here. Look at this big divergence right here at the bottom. Massive one, looking for maybe a reversal to the bullish control zone and getting an expansion like this. If you look at it, the price, when we got that expansion to the upside, right, it started to look pretty good. Look at this nice pump upwards, right? When we got this expansion, look at this expansion. So are we gonna maybe diverge and start trending to the upside? Look, here we got bullish divergence. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Bullish divergence, EMAs crossing, went up, expanded. Bullish divergence, EMAs crossing, bullish expansion. What do we got now? Bullish divergence, EMAs crossing, bullish expansion, maybe. And that would be absolutely epic, because ultimately we hunted tons of liquidity. We've shaken a lot of people out of their bags. The unlocks are coming around the corner, so that we can rest assured that no more unlocks are coming anymore until the next period. And ultimately, you know, backtest in spring, and maybe we start recovering here. I know it's a little bit of hopium here, guys, but the reality is that's the last line. That's the last opportunities for Heroes of Mavia, because back to the bearish scenario, we get rejected here. It's coming down lower lows. It's done for me. There's no more Mavia in my portfolio ever again. So I tend to cut things off and maybe exit as close as possible to the entry, because again, backtesting, confirming it as a resistance, you know, allows me to take a small loss and be done with it, be done with Mavia. I don't want to be done with Mavia, because I like everything that I've shown you here today. There's a lot of goodness out there on Mavia. But reality is, if the market participants are not adopting and playing and appreciating the game, guys, the price is going to continue falling. All right, guys. So that's basically it. Overall, guys, we have to pay attention to the market in general, Heroes of Mavia, and many other projects, because as the market is giving us red opportunities, eventually we're going to get a wave to the upside where the bulls respond. It's not always bearish. It's peaks and valleys, ebb and flows, and it's about time that we start to see a bullish response. Okay, guys, and be prepared with those portfolios. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this deep dive, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Guys, if you want to vote on the next deep dive, join the Discord. You can request and vote on the next deep dive for next week. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.